from old Shell Bell, you know. She's like a mystical unicorn.
Yeah.
Hi,
Anyway.
everybody. Welcome back to Galactic Conversations. Hope you've been enjoying the episodes. And as usual, these are our experiences. Take what resonates, leave the rest.
Yes.
So yeah, this weekend I was at Retreat Yourself, I was telling you, and I had a talk planned, and then I was doing a breathwork ceremony. And the talk was fucking power, Justine. Like I can't wait to do more. Like it's the teachings, you know, I just love it. And I went deep in fast. I kept pulling people back, but like people were just like, even the masculines, first they were lying there with their girlfriends, and because it's in this beautiful, you know, in the forest, there's like a talk space in the forest. And then like at one stage, like the masculines were all sitting up, like, it's where I met Zintle, and yeah, it was very, very powerful. And I was just saying, okay, cool, open the floor to questions. I'd go bring the mic to someone, and this person would just burst out crying. And I'm like, they're like, I don't know why I'm crying. I'm like, it's okay. It's my frequency. Just take a breath. And yeah, and I had people coming up to me the whole festival saying, oh my gosh, your talk was really, really powerful. Thank you so much. So I'm very excited to do more of that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And then the breathwork, I had 80 people.
Wow.
I held that space. But the light workers were Doug, Tallulah's brother, and myself. I was going to cap it at 30, but people just kept coming, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, called in the angels, and at the end, Doug was like, holy shit, Brigitte, I've never seen angels that size. Like, they were fucking huge. Even Zintle, she was like, oh my God. It was very, very held, thank God. But and
Yes, 80 people, it's a lot of people.
70% of them were newbies, you know, so but it was free work. It was karma yoga work. So I was just like, well, I'm here, you've arrived, we're doing this thing.
Yes, good.
I was like, if you've drunk alcohol, get out. The rest come in.
Yes.
And that's who arrived, and that's what happened. I had to like work with a microphone and then put the mic down because I'm banging my drum, and then I'm screaming, and I'm like, yeah, just fucking power. Very, very powerful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. So we'll see what comes from that. So yes, I am a bit tired, but Zintle is going to give me a little healing afterwards. So
okay.
Yeah, just physical body stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
I wanted to ask, we'll just dive straight into questions about Thoth.
Thoth.
Yeah. I mean, there's like, when I did my channeling course last year, I think it was, one of the masters that we were supposed to be working was Thoth, in order to help with the channel.
Yes.
Help stabilize the channel. But I know, like, if you look in kind of galactic history and more spiritual text, you know, it was like there was this time when Thoth abandoned the role and chose path of the Anunnaki rather than the angelic humans, and stole some CDC tablets. So I don't know. I've always been like, when I was doing the channeling course, I was just like, am I supposed to be working with this guy? And obviously I have every understanding that there's eons and eons and eons of time that have gone by, but like, I just wanted to get your download on Thoth.
What do you say, Geronimo? Hey, baby. It's my Thoth, yeah, it's my Thoth.
A download on Thoth. Yeah, it's a very in-depth question for the beginning of our galactical conversation.
Well, I mean, it's the beginning of episode
18. Yeah. I was I was going back on our conversations, I think yesterday or the day before, looking for the episode where I mentioned Russia.
Yes.
And the nuclear power.
Yeah.
With regards to Ukraine now.
That's so funny because I had that as a question as well.
And we can start there because I've had a very, very difficult, not difficult, but yeah, tough weekend. I'm still recuperating, so we can start.
Energies that are happening in the Ukraine.
Yeah, that's I've been having these. When you get this flight or fight, flight or fright, flight or fight.
Yes.
Adrenaline push.
Yeah.
It started last week, but it's like every 10 minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I kind of crashed on Saturday.
Is that because you're picking up people's fear frequency and
yes, I was trying to
Ukraine?
No, Friday I was like I couldn't take it anymore. So I went to have my blood analyzed.
Yeah.
And Louise said to me, yeah, you look like you're burning out, yeah?
Yeah.
But I said, look, I've got this adrenaline that keeps on pumping every 10 minutes. And I was only on yesterday.
That you were able to stabilize.
Yeah, and that I was wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And it's this anxiety of all these Ukrainians.
Yeah. And I think also the Russians, I don't think they really want to go into this.
Well, I think it's the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's that whole fear atmosphere and that anxiety atmosphere, and it's affected me. So I had to, yeah. Wow. Louise has put me on stuff just to get my nervous system to calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've had a very difficult.
Well, I mean, I
days.
read this morning that the South African government is sending South African troops into Ukraine. So I'm just like, yeah, it's just the world.
Yeah, this shit shouldn't be happening at this day and age. It shouldn't be happening.
No. It can be such a functional space with all the solutions at our fingertips, yet.
Well, I think he's not well. I actually think he's sick.
Who, Putin?
Yeah.
Mentally,
yeah, he's mentally, I mean, he has a certain belief system, I mean, his upbringing and his mentoring have been in a environment of
indoctrinated.
Yeah, and totalitarianism.
Yeah.
So he's, the history is very embedded there.
Mm.
And if you look at the history of Russia, Russia originally started in the medieval times. If you go back now a few hundred years, Russia originally started on the land where Ukraine is now. So, historically wise, it's always been a part of Russia. And now that they have, gained their independence, and doing pretty well, they look very happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what their GDP is, but I think Putin, I'm sure he's sick. Yeah, I think he's either physically sick, or I don't see him mentally like
suffering,
unstable as Trump.
Mm.
Trump has definitely got a mental disorder. But I think he's not well, and I think maybe that's affected his decision making in the sense of, okay, now
he wants to go down with a big bang.
Yeah, not only that, he wants to incorporate Ukraine into Russia. You know, back again, like this is my legacy that I'm leaving.
Yes, I was going to say, big bang legacy, big death. Yeah. But the thing is as well, it's very interesting now with the masculine. Like, I mean, we've spoken about it a couple of episodes ago with regards to medicine people, but like we are having more and more conversations just within my homestead surrounding, again, obviously plant medicine space and masculines, and more stories coming out about women and more stories coming out. And then me thinking I know a story about something, then someone going, no, it's another facilitator, another masculine. And it's just like, I've been dealing with the masculine like last week, you know. There's a lot of shit. And I guess what I'm saying is the microcosm to the macrocosm, of micro to one masculine, macro to a masculine that rules the whole entire country. Like I don't know, the masculines are going through some very big stuff right now that is coming out what seems to be in quite toxic expressions.
Yes, but this is what happens when you don't hang on, let me just think about this. The aspects and dynamics of change on an energetic level are going to influence everything on planet Earth.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. And the feminine aspect of humans is much more evolved.
Yes.
So there is a lot more of that energy is more influential.
Yeah.
So together with
driving.
Yes, together with that, and then of course the aspects around the grid around planet Earth, and then different energy influences that come in over different periods of time. It is going to it's like being in that pressure cooker. It's going to put pressure. It's like when I wanted to go to the Syrians.
Yeah.
And I said that my light body is feeling like I cannot hold that frequency. It's like being in a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
That is the same that will happen here on planet Earth.
Yes.
Where people are going to feel like they just can't take that pressure, hold that frequency.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have not worked on yourself in the presence of self-awareness, really asking the important questions and the deeper questions, because ascension is, I'm gonna say it here, is not an easy thing. It's not an easy process. This stuff it's not easy work, guys.
No.
And you know, those that don't want to
acknowledge.
Well, not only acknowledge, but actually start the process.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to it will happen where, for example, like I'm just going to take an example now. Let's just take burnout.
Yeah.
Where you're feeling the pressures. You know that you've been under pressure, like myself. Everybody on planet Earth has been under extreme pressures the last 2 years of COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. And for me personally, I had my dark night of the soul for the last 6 years. So that was like a different kind of emotional and mental pressure.
Yeah.
Then you've got the COVID pressure. And you can feel it. You can feel yourself exhausted. You can feel the aspect of I can't do this anymore. I have to get up, but I can't really get up. I don't really want to get up.
Yeah.
So you kind of like, you know, you you feel what's happening around you and inside of you, but you just keep on going until one day you just crash.
Collapse, yeah.
And then you wonder, oh my God, what's happened?
Well, that was my biggest fear while I was in the ends there with Noxie, where I was feeling, bouts of psychosis and things like that. And the mental body understanding of what I was going through was in complete understanding of what was happening. But I went through this fear of, okay, I know what's happening and I know what is required. And what that may be in a worst case scenario situation was I might need to go home and just be held and move through a self-care process with family members in my bed. And it might be gone in 3 days. It might be a week. It might be a month where I am in my room being taken care of, etc., etc.
Yes.
Where my fear spiked was that I know that that's what I need. But my family members would more than likely be like, okay, well, you've been in bed for a week. Come up, girl, let's get going, and then obviously a lot of other families with people in these situations would immediately be like, okay, here's a mental institution. Here's this, here's this drug. Instead of trusting that I know what I'm going through. I know I'm shifting perspective through an ascension process, and all I need to do is integrate, and that may require fucking 3 weeks of sleep.
Yes.
As an example. And my biggest fear was not the psychosis, but how it would be received on the other side. Like if you go, hi, I'm moving through psychosis right now, I'm just gonna need to sleep. People will be like, well, don't we need to create some big drama here? So yeah.
Yes, well, I mean that's my thing. I don't have anybody to look after me. If I don't get up in the morning and pick up the dog shit, nobody's going to do it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to feed the dogs. Nobody's going to give them water.
Yeah.
No, nobody's. And if something happens to me here, okay, Carolina, because we only see each other 2 months in a full year. I worked out the days the other day. I think it's 2 months in a full year we actually see each other.
Yeah.
But if something happens to me, nobody's going to know.
I know. Until
there's a scent that's coming from number 11 to just the street now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's tough when you're not when you have to. You don't have that support.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's where most of humanity is at. I mean, even me, I feel like, yes, energetically, I know I need to rest, but, if I need to order products and have those products help me with my income and have that income help me with my rent and that rent help me with my home, what you want to do for 4 days as rest for 4 days turns to half an afternoon. And you're like, cool. What do you mean? I've rested half an afternoon. I'm in, I'm back in the game. And this is the Arcadian rhythms, like they're completely out, We don't hibernate and rest during winter. Everything stays the same. So yeah. But this is the dissolving of the construct of time as well. When humanity literally in that pressure cooker cannot do any more. The fuel price is going up, which means the bread goes up, this goes up, everything goes up. Like it's a lot, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's one knock after the other.
Yes.
I mean, it's one constant, and just when you think, okay, I've got a bit of a breather, something else arrives.
Yeah.
And it's and like you say, it's either inflation's going up now. Diesel's gone up, but now with Russia, with this war, with the Russian war that's going on, I do see inflation will start to spike.
Yeah.
And then there's this war with these poor Ukrainians that have just been uprooted. It's a disaster. It's a complete disaster.
But like yesterday with my mom, as I said to you prior to pressing record, like her awareness levels are raising, slowly. And she said to me, like, oh, we're in the middle of a war, there's a war happening. And I said, yes, Mom, remember what I said to you 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yes, you did say it, and I didn't believe you. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
And so there's this humility that's entered into her space where she's looking at me and like, okay, what else do you know that I rejected previously, etc., etc. So it's quite an interesting space from an ancestral healing with myself and my mom. I'm sure with many family members, but yeah. And of course, the other side of it is further awakening. But like we
Yeah,
say,
well, look at everybody. I mean, I don't watch the news. I watched a little bit yesterday when they said they were going into peace talks. I watched 5 minutes, but then I couldn't
Yeah.
watch it anymore. But everybody all over the world that's standing up, supporting the Ukrainians, which is amazing. Because this shit shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. I mean, I know I've said once or twice on the Galactic Conversations. I see aspects of war.
yes,
And financial. The financial thing is still coming. So that's what I'm talking about. It's one thing after the next,
Of course.
And this decade this decade is going to be like that. It's just going to be one kind of ping pong smash party.
Yeah.
Where you are forced, where you have this almost kind of like dynamo effect of things happening in your life, where you get to a point where you say, okay, because there's just so much happening and you are constantly challenged, it brings you to a point where you say, okay, I just can't take this shit anymore. I want to go live where I'm going to be, where I can actually see the sun set and the sunrise.
Yes.
So
because we can't keep up.
Can't keep up.
And because time is a distortion, the reality is a distortion. The program is running out of code, so to speak.
Yeah. So it's I really feel for people out there, because I mean I can feel the effects of challenging times. So I really feel for the whole world out there. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of my I wanted to ask, like, do you have memories within your consciousness of cataclysmic events? Like the extinction, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, this
Atlantis, yes.
Yeah. And
aspects of in Egypt, yes, because there were quite a few floods.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deep,
so
because
would those be classified as cataclysms and downfalls of civilizations within Earth?
Yes.
And then
the ancient civilizations. Remember, like I mentioned in last week's episode, if you just look at Atlantis, Atlantis fell a few times.
Yeah.
But the huge flood, those were cataclysmic floods.
Yeah.
That separated everything. And from there, you had all the priests, the high priests and high priestesses, and the sorry, I'm just waiting for the right word. I don't want to call them gods.
Masters?
You can call them masters like Isis and Thoth, and it basically took civilizations, or not civilizations, they, sorry, my brain is a little bit fried. Just give me a sec. They led, like the Mayans and the Aztecs,
Mesopotamia,
the Inuits, the Incas. I think it was actually the Incas of South America that was led by Thoth.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are how those civilizations developed, with the leadership of Thoth and Isis and
yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, there is controversy around Thoth in the Gnostic texts, right?
Not a very good boy.
Yeah, so that's
sorry. Yeah,
so
not a very good boy.
Because obviously that was ancient civilizations, eons and eons and eons ago. But obviously he, or that consciousness as a soul with his contract, would have needed to do repair work based on his karma, blah, 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 right? And so now in the now timeline, is Thoth rejuvenated back into his light, all karmic aspects of the wrongs that he did are now corrected, or do those stories hold true of Thoth is still
no, he's still, I don't know the history in terms of what the books are saying. I'm just seeing as I see it now.
Yes.
He's still paying the price.
He's still paying the price.
He's still paying the price.
Yeah. But
because he was not a good boy.
If a light worker were to say, okay, cool, I work with Thoth.
Yeah.
He's paying the price by being a good guide, right? I mean, he wouldn't lead you astray, or because he's paying the price. He's
no. I think the aspects of not the aspects, but the sorry, I'm a bit slow today because
it's chill.
Just give me a second. The information flows so quickly, when we talk. But
yeah.
I had a very rough weekend. The powers of be are keeping a very close eye.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So if a light worker, for example, say calls Thoth in their meditation, and within their heart space, their intention is pure, their heart is it's activated, that is a good, they're working.
No, that's fine, because I mean, he's kind of like,
and he's still a master,
Yes, but also masters go wrong. Masters can also step into the dark side. So
sure,
don't be eluded.
Yes, that's why I'm bringing this up.
Yes, don't be eluded.
Yeah.
But no, so he is, how do I say this? It's like when a child is naughty in school.
Yes.
And the teacher says, okay, strike 3. You've been doing that for the last, I don't know, the whole year now. It's enough now. So now they get called in with their parents and the other teachers and
the Lords of Karma.
The Lords of Karma. And it's going to say, okay, now we are watching you.
Yeah.
Okay. And we are taking this aspect away, so you can't play with it.
Yes.
Does it make sense? Sorry, yes. That's the only way that I can explain it. Yeah.
I just thought it was an interesting thing to ask about, because like I said last year within my channeling thing, I was like, should I be calling this brother in or not? Like, I don't have full clarity on how it works, or I haven't gone through it, and I happen to be in my meditation now, and it's not the time to go through it. But logically speaking, like you say,
So I don't work with Thoth, and I on a personal level, on a spiritual level, I won't.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
drawn.
just, no.
Yeah, I'm not drawn either.
No.
Yeah, Jesus, my man.
Oh, yeah, Jesus is cool. I saw Merlin last week.
Oh yeah, what do you have to say?
So, because I've been also doing a lot of spiritual work, so I think I've,
fried the nervous system.
Yeah, I fried the nervous system, and then with this, because this anxiety thing, every 10 minutes, this adrenaline just comes out.
Yeah.
And after 3 or 4 days of this, because my body started heating up, like overheating, and I just said, okay, I can't take this. I'm going to do the blood analysis. So, but before that, it was last week, I was concerned about something.
Yes.
And I wanted to speak to Merlin.
Yes.
So Merlin says, okay, meet me in the halls of Amenti at the lower level, the first level.
Yes.
I said, okay. So I go, and I'm walking down there's like the long hall, and you got to walk, right to the bottom. And it's busy there. It's busy. I'm thinking, what's going on here? There's, so many.
Conference, Galactic Conference.
Yes, it was. So anyway, so I'm walking through all these people. Not when I mean people, I mean masters in different intergalactical. What's the name? And Merlin is sitting down at the bottom. Anyway, so I go sit there and I say to him, "What's going on here?" He says, "No, there's an intergalactical federation meeting where everybody's been called in."
Yes.
Because that's another thing. Remember, I said to you, I don't know what conversation it was. A galactical conversation. I think it was in the same one that I mentioned. I see Russia mobilizing.
Yes.
Because that's what I saw. I saw them mobilizing, and especially nuclear power came up. It was big. So I don't know if it was in the conversations about the aliens.
Yeah.
But where I said to you, oh, remember they're watching us.
Yes.
There's a presence there.
Yes.
Yeah. So last week there was a huge galactical federation meeting.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so Merlin's fine. Merlin's just so chilled. Oh, because I said to him, he says to me, okay, what's the problem? So I said, no, okay, I'm worried. He said, okay, what you worried about? Anyway, so I tell him what I'm worried about.
Yes.
And then he says, yes, you think you've got problems. He says, I've got to go to the Galaxy 3, and I've got to assist with this, I don't know what it's called. What is it called? Let me just look here. It's a name. I can't remember. I've got it on my phone. I WhatsApped it to myself.
Yes.
It's almost like a
transponder.
No, it's like the only way I can explain is almost like a spider, a huge spider, a gigantic spider.
Yes.
With wings, right?
Yes.
And this, I've got the name. This presence or form is giving birth.
Okay.
But on this planet in Galaxy 3,
yes,
there's it's almost like an energy force.
Yeah.
And this thing has got, I don't know what happened, but it's walked through this energy force, and now it's half in form, it's frozen in form, and the other half it's still moving, but it's got to give birth to this child. So they've called Merlin to come and help with this. Anyway, she says, you think you got problems?
She's like, wow. Do you ever get to points where you just place your hand on your head and go, this is all a joke? Never.
No.
So real. Sometimes I feel like a lot of light workers are like, this is just a cosmic joke. None of this is real. But it's...
Well, look, I mean, I think it's the... How do you put this? It's almost like a surreal event, you know, like if you win like 160.
The Salvador Dali painting.
Yes, yeah, or you win like 200 million on the lotto or something.
Yeah, you haven't integrated that.
Yes, you haven't integrated that.
That's a really good, yeah.
It's really understandable.
Yes.
You know, it's understandable.
Yeah.
So, I think that's why, if you look at, I would say 80% of lotto winners, you know, they spend their money within the first 5 years because they haven't integrated that aspect.
Yeah.
You know, so no, it makes sense. I wouldn't condemn that at all.
Yeah.
When I say condemn, I mean light workers out there must be easy on themselves, gentle on themselves. Don't condemn yourself for seeing things beyond in different universes. You know, just go with the flow and just, you know, allow that to unfold as it must.
Yeah.
It's this weekend, I mean, I asked Michael to come in and help me with this because I was
your anxiety.
Yeah, but it was like on a different level. I haven't felt this. I mean, I've had burnouts. I've had probably 3 burnouts before this. You know, where I said I've landed up in hospital.
Yes.
So I know the aspects of burnout.
Yeah.
But this was like on a completely different level. And at this time, it was also because I'm doing a lot of spiritual work. Things in my mind were moving just so quickly that I couldn't grasp certain aspects. So I asked Michael to come in, and it's almost like it was unbelievable. It was like time being dissolved through my body. But like centuries of trauma.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
Is that the work he was doing on you?
Yes.
Wow.
But this was only reference to what I was feeling now this weekend, you know. And I just said, look, please, I need help here. And I'm struggling, you know. I'm really struggling. And I was lying in bed.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really been up the last 2 days. And I don't know how to explain this. It's almost like if you've got certain things on top of one another, and this one comes down, and it's you can actually feel it. It comes down and then it collapses. Then the next one comes down and it collapses, and the next one comes down and it collapses. And it was about 6 of these, and it really feels like the trauma of time.
Wow.
You know, of centuries of trauma.
Yeah. Is that within your individualized soul aspects, or you being the vessel for that trauma to be dissolved as a collective healing that he would have done?
No, I think it's
just using you.
Just with regards to
you.
my presence on planet Earth.
Yeah.
My life on planet Earth for the last few thousand years.
For all of your incarnations.
Correct. Because remember I said now that I'm upgrading my DNA as well.
Yes.
And then doing other work because this is my last lifetime here.
Yes.
So, but this I didn't expect. This is completely something
new.
So I think it's an integration. It's a finishing off. It's a coming to a close kind of thing. You know, like when I explained that the out breath and the in breath of God. So the breath is 26,000 years for God to breathe in, and 26,000 years to breathe out. But within that cycle of 260,000 years, which is 26,000 breaths, the first 10,000 years are like a holding period, like a holding space. So I think this is almost kind of like that, but with respect to me closing off my earthly contracts.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But it was, and I'm still not feeling. I'm not 100%. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
So it's like a collapsing of trauma on this plane.
From all of your incarnations.
My earthly lifetimes.
Yes.
Not my intergalactical. It's completely separate.
Yes. Yeah. Fuck, there's so much, like I often am, again, like, in my talk, I was like, I've got this much left in my bank account. This is where I'm at. And here I am speaking to 120 people, and here I am doing breath work for 80 people. And, I've come back and like, I need to rest today. I've done big ceremony work basically, but, but I was in a very creative space from this weekend as well. And being like, there's so much, I feel like there's so much that one human being can do, but they also require a team. And it's just this balance,
That balance is very important.
Yeah.
And I mean, the aspects, not the aspects. I've got to hold on that word. Okay. The integration of your energy in every day really needs to be revised.
Yeah.
And revised when I say, okay, I'm tired. I've done the session
Energy
this
work.
Weekend.
Yeah.
This energy work. I know, okay, well, the financial aspects are not looking 100%, but I have to rest. It's basically really getting which priority comes first.
Of course. It's exactly what I was talking about in my talk, and it was so well received because I was so fucking authentic, and I was like, it's hard. It's hard, but anything else is a little bit of a distortion, just sitting in a. And yeah, of course, every soul has their reality and their contract, and I am in gratitude to see those experiencing joy, for perhaps being in ignorant bliss.
Yeah. Well,
prior to COVID, for example's sake, we were like, oh, got to wake people up, and now we're like, oof, I don't know, it's just take a little bit longer here because it's intense, but
look, I think it will happen. I think it will happen in various ways. I mean, I've just heard, just in the last week before I had my little meltdown,
yeah,
that 3 people have just committed suicide.
I heard from my mother yesterday, two kids, 17 and 21.
Yeah.
And it was interesting for my mom to tell me that story because I was like, well, there's these people left behind. This is what I do, Mom, and she was just, I said, when I'm in Joburg, I'll go have cups of tea with them.
Yeah.
And the one family, it was a boy, Shem, he didn't actually cross over, but he was in the hospital, and his dad, the masculine, has completely ignored it, completely gone into denial, and pretending he doesn't even have this son in his life. Like, so now this being has not crossed over, is now dealing with his ancestral father, completely ignoring the situation. So yeah, when I come visit you in Joburg and do my next ceremony, I think I might pop over. We'll see.
Yeah. So that's and I think these will play out in various ways, either being burnout on a physical level, in a kind of burnout, because I think the world is going through a sense of global exhaustion. People are exhausted. So there's this global exhaustion. Illnesses that will start to pop up, because when you have an illness, your priorities change. You have to really start looking at life in a different way. So whether it's on a physical level, a mental level, I also see. I mean, mental health issues I really see
escalating.
But also, I also see over this decade is really gonna increase mental health.
So when you speak of when we speak of the financial collapse based on the collapsing of many systems and things, how does digital currency play a role there? Because as far as I understand, China is now on a full crypto and digital currency. I don't think they're even in fiat anymore.
Yeah, no, digital currency is the future.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, is that there will be a financial
but when that bust goes, so you've only had, let's call it 50K in your account, that bust goes, like and it collapses, so your 50K is no longer at zero, right? The reset of some sort happens. We're now digital. You don't have anything, you never had anything to begin with, because you've got zero. It kind of feels like even though it is the future, if you haven't set yourself up for that, you're eliminated from that program immediately, unless governments, for example, say, right, there's a reset. As governments and those that are supposed to be holding space for a higher interest, here's 100,000 Rand each citizen. Let us begin this new glorious time.
No, that's definitely not going to happen.
Exactly. So it's like, if you're not prepared, you're kicked out. You've got nothing to put on the digital thing because you had barely any fiat anyway.
Yeah, look, it's going to take time to
cross over.
But if you see how many people, let's just say in South Africa now, or across the world, actually carry cash.
Yeah.
Everything is used with your card, your bank card, your credit card,
or an app.
Yeah. So the financial system. Look, I think you definitely still going to have the stock exchange. There's no that will continue, but you will have more and more financial institutions opening that just run on a crypto.
Yes.
That basically crypto will start to become listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's where it's going.
But that would indicate then that crypto is not then centralized, or some coin.
No, they're going to centralize it. They'll have to centralize it, because governments will want to tax you on that, on your profits,
But I mean, the program of crypto is coded that it is decentralized to empower the people.
Yeah, but it's not empowering the people. Even Bitcoin, it's not. It's made a
Because
few.
it's
It's made a few millionaires. Yes.
At this point in time, as in functional, you're not going to buy your bread with 0.0000687 cents of crypto or of Bitcoin. You can't buy. So,
look, I mean,
these guys know that this is not financial advice in any way.
No financial. I mean, I had one Bitcoin and I sold just before it went up.
Yeah.
Because the COVID had come.
Yeah.
And I needed the cash. And I had one Bitcoin. I think it was sitting at a Bitcoin was $55,000. No, it was, I don't know. I don't even know what the price of Bitcoin is now, but I think it's $1 million now.
Yeah.
For one Bitcoin. So that is not empowering the people, But obviously those that got in around about 2009. I don't know when Bitcoin originated. I think it's 2009. I don't know. Or 2013. I don't know. Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I mean, multimillionaires.
Yeah. So again, those people, beyond their financial strategies, for me, I'm always like, if you have money in this earth realm, you have potential to impact the world in a very, very strong way if you are not selfish, greedy, all of these things,
Yes, but
and of course, please also note, so do the meek have a very impactful essence on the planet. But if we want to, I don't know, money does assist in transforming spaces, places, and times.
You need that. You need money to do that
correctly. Yeah.
No, you need money to do that. There's no doubt about it. It's the basis. It's the foundation of your root chakra.
Yes.
It's security. It's it's grounding you in that security, in financial. And you need financial. You need a home. You need to be able to buy food.
Yeah.
It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
But if you look at the aspects of greed, I mean it's rife within these huge institutions. I'm not going to name any on this thing, but I think we know who they are. Just go and watch some of the documentaries on Netflix about these organizations. So they are the leaders in the greed. But with regards to the financial transition, I mean, I think you said like China, and look at China in any aspect, they are like 20 years ahead of everybody else.
I know.
So digital currency is going to become the norm. It's just about integrating it. Governments will start to integrate it into their policies.
Yes.
So they can get tax on it. And then it obviously has to be regulated. Government has to put regulations in, like with these huge institutions. I hope, I'm praying over the next 8 years that more regulations are instituted into the tech companies, because tech information data is $1 trillion industry.
Yeah.
And it's destroying lives out there.
Yeah.
And they're making money off this.
Yeah.
They're making money off manipulating people that are not aware, that are not even standing in their own power.
Yes.
And that's why it's $1 trillion industry. And it just shows you how they are able to manipulate governments, manipulate industries, manipulate everything based on information. Information is the most
sought after resource.
Yes, and highest
bidder wins.
Highest commodity.
Yeah.
So it's you really have to have your wits about you, guys. These are changing and difficult times that we are going through. So it's it's important that the decisions that you make in life are well thought through. And there are also aspects of travel now. I see quite a few of the world population are changing their views on how they travel. How is it affecting the planet? So it's important to think about what you are doing and how it's affecting the planet, how it's affecting the people around you, and how it's affecting yourself. And these are big questions. These are and just you start just small, one day at a time. Where does this tuna come from that I'm buying?
Of course.
Where's it coming from? And how much tuna is actually left in the ocean? Okay, there's like 6 tuna left in the seas. Okay, I'm not eating tuna anymore because I don't agree with this. So it starts on a small scale, and from there you build.
Of course.
I
think we'll close it out there naturally.
I'm exhausted.
I was going to say both of us are quite tired in our energy field. We're going to hit healing now, which I'm looking forward to. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, please just drop them in comments, and we hope to see you back next week. Thank you, Justine.
Okay, my love. Namaste. Love you too.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.